covered the payment statuses and the payment methods. So let's start with the methods. Obviously, there's cash, you've got bank, you've got check, M-Pesa, and Equitel. But like I said, we do have APIs, so you can integrate these to whatever payment endpoint, and once you receive payment on that end, you can just be posting a payment notification on this other side on Billasha, and we are going to post it for you on the system, as long as you follow the guidelines that we've stipulated in the API. Once you have your payments, they are going to have certain statuses. By default, payments on the system are going to get the unclaimed status. It's a processing status. It means that this payment has not been claimed by a particular customer record. We are still trying to find out who actually owns this particular payment. When the system does not find anyone that seems to be eligible for that particular payment, it's automatically going to mark that payment as unknown. And from that point, we can be able to allocate a particular customer manually to the payment if it was for a specific customer. Or we can go ahead and allocate it to a lead. Because remember, when we covered leads under the CRM section, we talked about when you create a lead, you give the lead number to the customer to pay, and they use that number to pay for their onboarding on the subscription package. And once they get subscribed, that's when they get the account number. The payments could also be destined for a lead. So it is not a must that they are going to be destined for a customer. Or it could be a wrong payment. It's not for your pay bill. Someone paid by mistake. Once the payment comes in, we'll be able to earmark it for that particular customer if you find them. If you don't find them, we're going to mark it as unknown. STK initiated, the first status on this list, is a status that is usually set on a payment record when a customer initiates an STK transaction. Either you do it through the various payment collection methods that we covered in the customer account or the leads, all those, even from customer self-service online portal, or from the USSD self-service, or from the WhatsApp self-service. If a customer wants to make a payment, we're going to initiate an STK, and the first status that will go into that payment is going to be initiate STK. Once the STK is successful, we are going to mark that particular payment as unclaimed so that it can then be put in the correct account. It might happen in a split second, but the statuses are going to follow that particular process in that manner. The next one is pending clearance. This one is something you probably reserve for banking. You might post a check there, it's not cleared. You might want to come back and clear that. And once you do clear it, it becomes unclaimed. It becomes the usable payment in the system. The next one is duplicate. If you ever have a duplicate on record, we do not discard them automatically. We are going to tag that as a duplicate, and it cannot be used anywhere. Only one payment can actually be utilized. You'll rarely see that happening, but if it does, we're ready for it, and we have a status to be able to mark it. If a payment is going into a wrong account, in the sense that the customer has paid to a lead, but then the lead already has the funds, so it means that this customer did not get the updated customer account, the service account, so that one would mark it as just a wrong account, and it will be ready for you to be able to come in and do the correction. If a payment is unknown, we've covered that. The only unknown payments and perhaps wrong account are the only ones you can actually act on. You can do something about them. You can allocate them. You can refund them back to the customer. We'll cover refunds. What about rejected? There are those particular payments in the system. You'd end up having like a wrongful sort of a payment that is not destined for your account. So this is something that we had actually done when we were doing direct integration before we actually had the payment decentralized from the core Billasha itself into multiple payment nodes. We have the rejected aspect where we'll be able to record payments that were not destined for you, and through a certain criteria, perhaps account or what, we decided to reject that particular payment back to Safaricom. In this particular case, you might never actually see that, but if you do, know that it's an older status that we actually discontinued because we would rather we handle the payments and perhaps maybe refund them than to directly reject them. And we know that customers, sometimes they put in the wrong account number. Failed is another entry on the system that you'll probably be able to encounter, and it could mean different things depending on how that one was actually arrived at. It could be a process that failed to move into the next status or something of that sort. But those ones are usually going to probably clear themselves, but if they stick around long enough, then it should be something alarming for you to be able to raise a ticket on. Marked for refund is a transitionary status. When you're refunding a client's payment, then we are going to mark it for refund the moment the refund has been successfully initiated, because you have to first of all initiate, actually successfully confirmed, not even initiated. The first step is to initiate the refund, which you do with one account, and then it's a maker checker. You use another one to confirm the refund, and once it is confirmed, we mark it for refund, because we don't refund it immediately. The system does that through queues, and when that queue is ready to be processed, the money will now be physically refunded back to the client. But during this transitional period, we don't want anyone to be messing around with that payment. We don't want it to go to an account. We don't want anyone to do anything to it. We want it to stay stale until the money has been fully refunded. That's why we've got all these transitionary statuses. And if the refund fails, if Safaricom tells us, hey, we are unable to refund that money, we're going to mark it as a failed refund, so that you know and take the necessary action post that particular event. If it is indeed refunded, we are going to mark it as refunded, and it is not going to be utilized anywhere else in the system. You're going to look at how you can do initiation of refund, so that you can be able to at least have that information. And finally, the status that we have when everything is well and good is going to be successful. If everything is working well, if there are no problems, successful is the status that you're going to see. And this usually means that a credit transaction has been created of an equivalent amount to the customer's account.